In the last Lok Sabha, the 17th, he perfected the art, or under his guardianship, the art of switching off the mics of opposition members mid-sentence, of ensuring Sansad TV paid for by taxpayer money blacks us all out. And when we stand up and he says this is a technical glitch, that's okay, we believe it, but I'm just pointing it out. It has become a joke within us opposition members that when we stand up for a 0 hour or a supplementary question, we are cut off in 30 seconds saying, Sankshipt mein boliye, Sankshipt mein boliye. And for treasury benches, people are allowed to speak endlessly, make unfounded allegations, lies against all of us. The government has made a circus of parliamentary democracy, and if the speaker is going to concede to being a complicit ringmaster, it is a very sad day for Indian democracy, a very sad day. It is richly ironic, it's divine karma actually, that I, the lady MP, who was illegally witch-hunted by this misogynistic government, wrongly expelled by Ethics Committee, which had no power to expel, after a motion in which I was not allowed to speak, where the speaker, in violation of every principle of natural justice, did not allow me to defend myself. Today I am opening the debate for my party in a motion of no confidence against that very speaker. You can't run away from karma. Dr. Ambedkar said that parliament belongs to the opposition and the government should always be on trial. On the anvil, he called it, to ensure accountability. The role of the speaker is that of a neutral arbiter and a keeper of the order of the House. This is absolutely vital to the function of parliament. John Bercow, the Speaker of the UK House of Commons, said, I never aspired to be Speaker of the House of Commons simply so I could say I am the Speaker of the House of Commons and tell my children that. So it can't be a matter of ego. It can't be a matter of personal legacy. The post is far beyond that. It is a fitting tribute to the vibrancy of India's democracy and the strength of India's dissenting voices that a motion of no confidence was moved against the very first Speaker of the Lok Sabha, G.V. Mavalankar, in 1954. He was accused of openly espousing the cause of the official spokesperson of the ruling party in all matters and constituted a serious danger to the functioning of the Lok Sabha. Pandit Nehru, who was PM then, participated in the debate, and he said that more time should be allotted to the opposition than to the government benches. Pandit Nehru, as Prime Minister, said this. What is the tradition we are following today? In the next decade, in 1966, there was a second motion of no confidence against a sitting speaker, against Sardar Hukum Singh. And there it was claimed that he was arbitrarily disallowing questions likely to cause acute embarrassment to the Prime Minister, to ministers, to top leaders and government officials. Sounds familiar? Does it sound familiar or not? 20 years later, in 1987, again a motion was moved against the then Speaker Balram Jakar. Moving the motion was a future Speaker, CPM Somnath Chatterjee. And he said that Parliament is as much in danger from a muted Parliament than from executive authoritarianism. This is what Somnath Chatterjee said. The resolution was critical of Jakar's rulings, which denied MPs the right to move adjournment motions. What do we have today? We have the Honourable Speaker who has not allowed a single adjournment motion. Every morning we come here and like a stuck record, what do we hear? Kisi bhi sthagit prastav ka anumodan nahi diya gaya. Every morning we hear this. But you know something? In the previous 3 instances, something was different. What happened? In each of the 3 previous instances, there was a deputy speaker to preside over the proceedings. In Mavalankar's case, there was Anantasayanam Iyengar, who was then deputy leader of the Lok Sabha in 1954. In 1966, in Hukum Singh's case, the then deputy speaker was S.V. Krishnamurti Rao. He didn't get a chance to preside over the proceedings because the person who brought the motion, he himself, Madhu Limahi, failed to get the requisite 50 people, so the motion failed. In 1987, in Balram Jakar's case, the Deputy Speaker M. Thambuderai presided. But today, what do we see? There is no Deputy Speaker. In the 17th and 18th Lok Sabhas, for the past 7 years, the post of the Deputy Speaker has been kept vacant. Article 93 of our Constitution very clearly says that the House of the people shall, the word shall is used, as soon as may be choose two members of the House to be respectively Speaker and Deputy Speaker. If the post becomes vacant, immediately another one shall be elected. Then there's Article 95(2) of the Constitution. What does it say? It says during the absence of the Speaker from any sitting of the House of the deputies or the Deputy Speaker, if he is also absent, any other person who can be determined by the House. Today when the debate started, what did we see? The person, no disrespect to the current chairperson sitting there, but there was no consensus, there was no spirit of the House that was taken into accordance as to who is going to preside over the proceedings. The Speaker, the Honourable Speaker of the 18th Lok Sabha, has achieved many firsts. Unfortunately, all of them have been less than graceful benchmarks. He keeps talking about the vaunted Garima of the House, but it has come to a point that the minute the Speaker comes into the House, Garima leaves the House. That's where we are today. I am first going to analyze the Honourable Speaker's inglorious record on a macro level, and then I am going to dissect it on a micro level. So let's look at the first macro point. Suspensions under Rule 374A of the Lok Sabha Rules and Proceedings. Now, what did we have before? First, we had Rule 374, which required any suspension to go through a formal motion. 2001, Atalji's government, NDA government, you bring in 374A, which gives the Speaker, in case of a grave disorder, without moving a formal motion, he has the right of immediate suspension, without any formal motion. And this rule, the way it has been abused by the current Speaker, is the very antithesis of democracy. It is all that democracy should not be. In December 2023, Birlaji ordered the largest mass suspension in the history of Indian Parliament, suspending 100 opposition MPs. This one episode alone accounted for over 40% of all Lok Sabha suspensions since 2004. In the last 20 years, in one day, he suspended 40% of the total. And why did he do this? What was our grave error? We wanted a statement from the government on the breach of the parliamentary security. Was this not a matter of national importance? You tell us. Let this be a fair and neutral debate. Now, while these MPs were suspended, Birlaji presided over the passage of 3 criminal amendment bills without any substantive discussion. I would say he's criminally complicit in throttling democracy. Criminally complicit in throttling democracy. But this incident was not a one-off for him. Between 2004 and between today, I've listened to all of you, Mr. Pal. We can't speak to you anymore. We have listened to you. Please expunge it.
The word criminally is removed from the record.
Please expunge it, sir. Please expunge. Sureshji, please let me say. Sureshji, please let me speak, sir.
The word criminally is removed from the record.
Please remove it. Please remove it. It will make him no less a criminal. Please remove him. But this incident was this incident was not a one-off moment for the Speaker. Between 2004 and today, 245 suspension actions were recorded in the Lok Sabha, and half of this total, 120 suspensions, were done by Birlaji alone. And that's not all. He's the only Speaker who has suspended only opposition MPs. 100% of these 120, 112 in the 17th Lok Sabha, and 8 अरे आप बताना बंद कीजिए मार्शल साहब, वो चेयर पे बैठे हैं आप नहीं, वो बैठे हैं चेयर पे आप नहीं, आप बताना बंद कीजिए माइक पे. 120 suspensions have been done by Birlaji alone. And they were all Lok Sabha, they were all members of the opposition. In the last Lok Sabha, the 17th, he perfected the art, or under his guardianship, the art of switching off the mics of opposition members mid-sentence, of ensuring Sansad TV paid for by taxpayer money blacks us all out. And when we stand up and he says this is a technical glitch, that's okay, we believe it, but I'm just pointing it out. It has become a joke within us opposition members that when we stand up for a 0 hour or a supplementary question, we are cut off in 30 seconds saying, Sankshipt mein boliye, Sankshipt mein boliye. And for treasury benches, people are allowed to speak endlessly, make unfounded allegations, lies against all of us. The government has made a circus of parliamentary democracy, and if the Speaker is going to concede to being a complicit ringmaster, it is a very sad day for Indian democracy, a very sad day. In March 25, A delegation of India Bloc MPs met the Speaker. We submitted a letter raising 12 issues, including the failure to appoint a Deputy Speaker, denial of the opportunity to speak to the LOP and other leaders, disregarding the decisions of the BSC. During his term, the Honourable Speaker has systematically throttled the voice of the opposition and by default, the representative voice of 41 crore Indians, 410 million Indians. That's who we represent here. He did not allow a discussion on Manipur. We had to move a no-confidence motion just to have a discussion on the issue. Do you remember? I remember the MP from Manipur, Dr. Bimol Ekojam. He stood up close to midnight and with such anguish in his voice, he told us that this state of Manipur has been excluded from the national consciousness to the point of invisibility. He had to be given the time at midnight. When BJP MP Ramesh Biduri stood in this house, and he called Danish Ali, another fellow MP, and I'm going to repeat these words because the country needs to remember this was said in this house. He called him a Katwa, a Musalman Atangwadi. Birlaji did nothing. You failed not only Danish Bhai, but you failed 200 million Muslims of this country who put their head on their forehead on this soil of this thing. Ramesh Biduri continued the rest of the term merrily. He was never suspended. Birlaji did not allow a discussion of the special intensive revision in Bihar, allowed only a larger electoral reform discussion. On every matter of national importance, we have been disallowed adjournment motions and debates. On each one, I am not yielding. He's an MP, he's not a minister, I'm not yielding to him. On each one, on the Hindenburg issue and the Adani government nexus, you disallowed the motion. On Chinese aggression into our territory, you disallowed a motion. On the one-sided Indo-US trade deal, we had to learn from the US president there's been a trade deal. The government didn't tell us. You disallowed a motion. On the Epstein files, a sitting cabinet minister has a mention of 430 times. Heads in the world over have rolled. You have not allowed us a discussion. Every time we MPs from Bengal have demanded answers as to why the central government is starving Bengal of funds, why our people are being starved of their rightful dues, the Speaker has allowed the Treasury bunches and ministers to systematically heckle us and dishonor us and humiliate us. On February 2nd, Birlaji disrupted the LOP's motion of thanks, citing rule number 349 and 353 to bar quoting from an article from the Army Chief of Staff's memoirs. First, they said LOP should authenticate. Then they barred him from authenticating. Yet on February 4th, a BJP MP designated as prime heckler by the Treasury benches, furnished books within the House and continued for 3 minutes. Then rule number 349 was not applicable. It is absolutely incredible, the show of partisanship that the Honourable Speaker informed this House that he had advised the Prime Minister not to come to the House as there is a danger from women MPs.
Yes.
1 minute, sir, 1 minute, I'll conclude. The Prime Minister is too scared to come to this House and the Speaker is covering up for him in this ridiculous manner, denigrating women without any substance.
Honourable MP Shri T.R. Baluji.
No, sir, I have not finished. 1 minute, I have not finished. I have got my last sentence. Speaker Saab,
You already spoke
sir.
for 20
no,
minutes.
I have
You
got
already
28
spoke for
minutes.
20.
My party has 28 minutes, sir. She is the chief whip. She is the chief whip. Speaker Saab, you are no longer fit to conduct the affairs of this House. I will end by saying to the Honourable Speaker what Oliver Cromwell said to the Parliament in 1653 and what UK Conservative backbencher Leo Amery told the British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain in 1940. You have sat too long here for any good you have been doing. Depart, I say, and let us have done with you. In the name of God, go.
Honourable